Good morning, Bravehearts, and good morning, Garfield, New Jersey. Welcome back to Marv in the Morning. Oh, baby, feels good to be back. Happy Monday, Bravehearts. Happy, beautiful, beautiful Monday. It's not as bad out as it was this weekend. Let me tell you guys, the temperature drop in New Jersey is nuts. Jersey was an igloo over the weekend. Absolute igloo. I was dying out there. Excuse me. I was dying out there. Absolutely dying. But luckily, now that I'm doing Marv in the Morning, been doing a lot more shopping, been doing a lot more to have different outfits and attires for each episode. And luckily, I'm early to the winter game. I am definitely early to the winter game. So I'm ready for it. I just wasn't ready for it that weekend or this past weekend. But other than that, great weekend. Had a great time. Shout out to Will. He took me over to a housewarming event his friends were having. One of his friends was having, and had a great time there. Got to look at a really nice Toyota Supra, 1985, and I've been a Supra head since Fast and Furious 1. So yeah, man. Shout out to that. That was a really great time, and went out with the craft beer sipping ladies the other day. Queer beer sipping. Shout out to Jade and, shout out to Erica. That was a great time in JC. Went to the pet shop and a couple other local spots too, Ani Ramen. And overall, just a great weekend. Nice, chill, calm, cool weekend. Definitely a great time. I enjoyed the jazz out of it. And sometimes you just start to cherish the calm ones, especially in your 30s. Cherish the calm moments. Cherish when you're not running around with a chicken, like a chicken with his head cut off. So that was a great time. Overall, great time. But welcome back to Marv in the Morning. This is episode 16. The topic of today's episode is the 5 elements to a great podcast. The 5 necessary, absolutely necessary elements to a Mondo Righteous podcast. The timestamps will be below in the description, so you can skip right ahead if you're watching post live. I thank you all for coming back. Thank you all for being here. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I Mondo appreciate that. Mondo appreciate it. Once again, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe for more podcasting tips. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you like what you're hearing, like what you're seeing. And hit the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever Marv in the Morning or the Bravery Studios YouTube channel goes live. Bravery Studios is the place to be at if you are podcasting in the tri-state area. New Jersey's #1 podcast studio. We pretty much do it all for you. Anything you need, we make it happen for you here in Bravery. We handle the editing, the production, the uploading, the releasing, the graphics, the music. All of that jazz can be done here for you in Bravery Studios. We keep it as simple as possible, so all you have to do is come here and speak your mind and let us handle the rest. Let us handle it all. Take the weight off your shoulders. Come to Bravery. Become a Braveheart. Start your podcast today. Don't wait. Don't let this idea live rent-free in your mind any longer. Come to Bravery. Let's make these dreams a reality. We have Big Daddy Alucard. Yeah, I know this guy. Yeah, a lot of people seem to know me, apparently. It seems to be happening a lot. I seem to be known. Good morning, beautiful people. Morning, beautiful people indeed. Morning, Bravehearts. Thanks for being here, Alucard. Good to see you, man. I didn't get to chop it up with you over the weekend. We didn't do any Twitch last week, which I'm going to rectify this week. This week we're going to go ham. Absolutely ham. And I think we can start on the Halloween special games for the season. I think it's time. So look forward to that tonight. But speaking of gaming, I mean, we got Discord. We got the Discord link below in the description. For anybody that wants to submit podcasts for reviews, I will review your podcast live here on Marv in the Morning. Tell you what I think. Tell you about the production. Tell you about all that jazz. You can also chop it up with me all day, every day. You can debate with me. You can tell me, hey, Marv, I don't like what you're saying. You tell me there in Discord. Pose your question, podcasting tips. They could become full-length episodes, or they could become a simple reply telling you what I think on your question. And, yeah, man, Discord. Discord's the wave. Definitely where things are moving to. Um, Quick communication without all the clutter of social media, without all the commotion of all the advertising and all that jazz. For now, at least. Hopefully it stays like that. Hopefully, but we'll see. But yeah, chop it up with me on Discord. Let me know what you think. Join the community. Join the community. Next on the agenda, no more Fridays, guys. I want to make an announcement today. Marv in the Morning will now become a Monday to Thursday show. I think I want Fridays off. I have Fridays off at the studio pretty much. I don't have any production or any editing on that day. And I think Marv in the Morning works great when I have the energy to do so. And I didn't notice that towards the end of the week, I know that towards the end of the week, I'm like a little more drained, a little less charismatic on the stream. So to rectify that, to just kind of avoid me coming up here and not giving you my best, we're gonna do a Monday to Thursday, and Thursday will become the AMA Thursday, a Ask Marv Anything Thursday. That's gonna be most people's favorite episode are the AMAs, because you can just throw out any question and I can answer it, or we could just have a out loud, the thinking out loud conversation. Last week we kind of spoke about last Friday the whole Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate situations, with each one kind of fighting patriots for the right to speak, the freedom of speech. So we kind of spoke about that last week, and I want to get back into that. I definitely want to have that conversation again, because I think that's one of the biggest issues plaguing the internet, not just podcasting, but the internet in general. Now that we have platforms where people can say whatever they want to whoever they want to communicate it with almost the entire globe, do we have a responsibility to follow what is the acceptable perspective on certain issues? Or are we allowed to just go in and speak whatever's on our mind, and with having a gigantic following, are these people misleading their audience with their perspectives that kind of go contrast to popular belief? Don't want to get into that now again, but I do want to go back into that conversation. Don't jinx Discord with the ads. Yeah, I got to be careful. I'm giving them ideas over here. I'm definitely giving them ideas. So next up is, of course, if you follow us on Instagram, you saw that we recently announced our Ladies of Bravery event that is happening October 22nd. Let me show that to you here now. So join us October 22nd in a celebration of femininity in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is going to be an awesome event. It's going to be, I lined up 3 all-female podcasts, all woman-led podcasts, that are going to be spotlighted that night. They're going to be doing a live show in front of a live audience, of course. And we're going to have performances, vendors, the whole nine. And I think it's going to be a beautiful night. For the Ladies of Bravery. We've had a lot of woman-led podcasts here, and sometimes those are the ones that kind of inspire me the most, because women are just passionate. Women have a passion for something, and they put all of their emotions into it. And I think I get most inspired by those type of conversations where the passion is just spewing out of every corner of the conversation. I really, really, really do love all the women that record here at Bravery. Shout out to Edda's Girls Next Door. Shout out to the No Filter podcast. Shout out to the Spiritual Tip. Shout out to another one that I'm going to speak about later. Man, every woman that's walked through these doors has come in with a purpose and with a goal. And I love seeing them reach for the stars. I really do. Really, really do. So, that's going down October 22nd. At this point, we're just doing, tickets at the door. But I think I will set up an Eventbrite this week for it, for anyone that wants to, get early submission for it. We're also going to be giving a discount to anyone who is subscribed to the Bravery Studios YouTube channel because we want to get those numbers up there on that platform as well. So yeah, stay tuned. Look forward to it. I know the ladies are going to kill it that night. The Ellis Girls Next Door have been on fire lately. A lot of new motivation, new energy, new spirits coming in through them. No filter as well. I can say the same. Ladies are absolutely killing it right now. Spiritual tip: every time I record them, I'm inspired. I feel like they are they played a great part in me creating this show. Just listening to them every week kind of like empowered me to do so. What's up, Brian? How you doing, bro? So yeah, man. Yeah, I'm bringing the hookah. Yeah, hookahs will be on deck that night. That's for sure. Hookahs will be on deck that night. So yeah, look forward to it. I'm going to be setting up the Eventbrite this week. I'm really excited for it. It's our first announcement of the fall for events, but I do maybe want to get some events in before that as well. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm going to have a lot more events going, especially a podcast meetup night where I just want everyone to come in and meet each other. All the podcasts that record here. It's a community of over 20 podcasts. So definitely that's going to happen soon. I think maybe even before the Ladies of Bravery night, that's going to go down. So, stay tuned. I'm going to have more announcements soon. Much more announcements. And we are seeking vendors. So if you know anyone that wants to be a vendor or you yourself want to be a vendor, make sure you reach out to me. The number is on the flyer. But if you don't have the flyer in front of you, it's 862-232-0814. Just, call me direct. Let's make it happen. We definitely want to get a lot of good vendors in here, a diverse group of vendors for sure. So let's make that happen. Live from Bravery Studios. So if you guys are sub to the Bravery Studios YouTube channel, you might have seen that I uploaded an interview with Jason Enrique 2 weeks ago. And the goal was to have a new interview every Saturday. And that still is the goal, to release a new episode of Live from Bravery Studio, just interviewing people, a much more humble production. It is a one-man show. I am doing it solo, so I want to keep it from becoming a lot of excessive work, because I can only wear so many hats at a time, and I don't want to burn out. I'm putting out too much content, and so we recorded an interview with Matthew Zaytoon from Prototype. That was a really, really great episode, and we really were digging in deep to his life. And then we kind of went to the 3-hour threshold, and I've never done a 3-hour podcast before, 3-hour interview. So we left off at a point where I feel like we have to do a part 2 because there's just so much more to speak about. So I got to get together back with him for part 2, and that was the episode that would have came out the previous Saturday, last Saturday. But we're going to link up, create the part 2, record part 2, either here or at Prototype. And then last Saturday, I actually interviewed my good friend and pal, Ose. He's the one doing the mural here in Bravery Studios. If you walk through the door, you see the Keith Haring artwork on the wall. That's all Ose. So that episode is going to come out next Saturday. And it's only audio form. I think going forward, I know I did video with Jason, but I think going forward, Live from Bravery Studios will remain audio until I get more hands on deck for it. Get Scooter maybe to man the cameras. But for now, I want to keep it humble and keep it easy for myself. Like I said in previous episodes, don't make it too much work for yourself, because then you burn out faster. If you create too much work for yourself, you're going to burn out a lot faster. So I actually enjoyed sitting with Ose and kind of just doing an audio style, because my mind wasn't split between the production and the actual conversation. I actually got to conversate with him the whole show. Whereas when I'm doing the 3-camera setup, I'm on the show, I'm speaking, I'm interviewing someone, my mind is split because I'm thinking, all right, are the cameras good? Are the angles good? Are the batteries fully charged? Does every memory card have enough space for all the footage? Being a producer, your mind just instantly is split, because you're thinking partially about the conversation, but you're also thinking about the production. You're thinking, making sure all the equipment is good, the levels are good, everything is good, so that you can have a good production. But without having to worry about cameras, I actually got to enjoy speaking with Ose and chopping it up with him for an hour. We did an hour and it felt like 5 minutes. That hour went by in 5 minutes, without a lie. That hour went by in 5 minutes. So and it was a good hour. And there's so much more we could speak about. So I'm definitely gonna have Ose here again. I think Live from Bravery Studios has to stay as humble as possible for it to work for me. And having recurring guests is gonna be fine with me as well. I'm definitely just gonna chop it up with whoever wants to be on there, and connect with people, vibe with them, and bring them to the studio. But yeah, Live from Bravery Studios, we'll have the Ose episode out this Saturday, the Ose episode, and then the following Saturday, after I'm finished up with Matt's interview, that episode is gonna be out the Saturday after. We got DX the Great, my brother, my pal, my comrade in arms in the Bravery chat box. Marv is a jack of all trades. I try. Time flies when it's awesome conversations. Time does fly. And I need DX the Great on Live from Bravery Studios. Maybe this Saturday, DX, we could chop it up on there. I think DX the Great needs an episode, even though he doesn't like to break kayfabe. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it where DX the Great is you're only in the DX the Great character. We're not gonna speak about anything kayfabe. But yeah, we need DX on there. We definitely need DX on there. And shout out to you, man. Thanks for making it. I don't usually get to chop it up with DX early in the morning. In the morning? No. Live from Bravery Studios is not recorded in the morning. Live from Bravery Studios is recorded whenever, whenever we get the chance to do it. So no, don't worry, brother. I ain't gonna drag you out here early in the morning. That's for sure. He said in the morning, sad face. No, you're good, bro. You're good. The daily shout out. Most people's favorite part of the episode. This shout out goes out to the Dining with Nadiva podcast. I love Nadia. I've worked with her for, I guess I would have been a year. Would have been a year next month. And she's just been a firecracker since the moment she walked through the door. She knows what she wants, and she's gonna get it. She knows that the aesthetics are what matters on her show. The aesthetics are what matters. Nadia reviews restaurants. She reads scripture, and she speaks about relationships on her show. She has a great niche. I've told her that since day one. And she's a very warming and kind and beautiful person. I loved having her here. I loved working with her for the past year. She will be moving on. She is moving to a different location, a different set for her studio, which I think is great. I think it's good to grow and spread your wings and do what is ultimately best for your vision, what aligns with your vision the most. And shout out to her. Shout out to her. Shout out to her whole crew. Shout out to her goals. I hope she achieves every one of them. It's been an honor, being her producer for the past year. And who knows, things might change in the future. She might be back and we work together again. But I'm definitely keeping my eyes wide open for whatever she has in store for us on the Dining with Nadiva podcast. She's awesome. She's awesome. She's a go-getter. You got to appreciate that. You have to appreciate people who are fighting for their dreams, just like how you are. So yeah, shout out to Nadiva of the Dining with Nadiva podcast. I absolutely love her. She's like a little sister. And, it's been great working with her. A lot of great meals out of that podcast, too. A lot of great meals after that podcast. Always well fed after that 4-hour shoot. Always well fed. But, yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to Nadia. That's our daily shout out. Okay, guys, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes of this episode. So this episode, once again, is the 5 elements of a great podcast. What are the 5 elements of a great podcast? And I got this topic online. I was looking up what should be the topic of today's episode. I didn't really have anything too very solid in mind, and I wasn't too bent on doing one of the topics I had in my notes. So let me look online and see if I find something that's worthy of speaking of on the show. And I found this article. It's on learn2g2.com. It's by Piper Thompson. So credit where credit is due. I did not come up with this topic on my own. Like I said, learn2g2.com. What makes a good podcast is pretty much the topic. This is the 5 elements of a good podcast. The 5 elements of a good podcast. And we're going to get into it now. We're going to get into it. Once again, shout out to Thomas Piper for this article. Shout out to him. Okay, number 1. The first element of a good podcast is to focus on a central idea. And this is very important. I recorded a lot of podcasts where the title is one thing, but the podcast is about another thing. Where they spend more time speaking on something else rather than the initial idea, the central idea. It's important to convey your message and convey it clearly and to dedicate yourself to that message, you know. That is mondo important. The worst thing that could happen for me if I try to venture out and find a new podcast to listen to, the worst thing that could happen is that I turn it on and I click on it and I'm 15 minutes in and they still haven't gotten to my topic that I'm there for. They haven't gotten to the point. And it's like, come on, guy, I'm I just wasted 15 minutes of my life. And we're short on time as human beings. We need instant gratification from our entertainment. So we can't spend that long searching for something and waiting and hoping. That's why I spend more time on the Netflix home screen than actually watching something on Netflix. Because finding something to watch in a sea of endless options is harder. It's harder than actually watching it. Finding something to watch is the hardest part. So when you do get found, you want to get to the point. You want to get straight to the central topic. The core ideas is the fundamental reason why podcast exists. Exactly. Focus on the reason your podcast even exists, right? Focus on the reason your podcast even exists to begin with. Shout out to Elizabeth Brown. Ellipses, indeed. Ellipses, indeed. You definitely want to get to the point. You want to find your central topic. Well, you already have your central topic. You want to focus on your central topic. Like, for instance, with this episode, the central topic is the 5 elements of a great podcast. So definitely focus on that. Focus on the idea. What's the point? If your podcast is about Mustangs, the 1975 Mustangs or whatever, you want to get to the point. You want to make your episode, maybe 75% of it, you want to be speaking about that topic. Don't venture off. Don't get lost in the woods, getting on into tangents and whatnot. Focus on your episode. Focus on the central idea. Focus on it. Focus on that jazz. Number two, according to Piper Thompson, play to an audience. The audience is king. Play to your audience. Give the people what they want is pretty much what I would have written there. Give the people what they want and deliver it in a manner that they expect. You know your audience. You know who's here. You know why they're here. Play to the audience. If the audience is more lighthearted and expects a little bit of charisma and showmanship, play to it. Whereas if you're delivering maybe financial information and it's kind of like more professional, you want to keep it in that realm. You don't want to come in with like maybe how I walk on the screen with like a jean vest and a gold chain. Shout out to Soki. I'm waiting for Soki to show up and ask me, hey man, why are you wearing my jean vest? But yeah, you want to play to your audience. Know your audience. Just know your audience. And Piper Thompson writes here, this goes beyond the basics of don't swear on a children's show. Yeah, this goes way beyond that. Yeah, of course, that's knowing your audience. If you're doing a kid's show, you're not going to be up there cursing and doing adult-like content. Know your audience. and they're limited airtime. Know what you can deliver. Know the package that it has to come in. You don't wrap a Christmas package in aluminum foil, right? Because you know your audience. You know why you're there for. You have to wrap it in a Christmas packaging, Christmas wrap, I guess you would suggest say. But yeah, know your audience, play to your audience, deliver it in the form that they can digest it, and yeah, just know what you're doing and who you're doing it for. Okay, so number three, and this one I kind of speak about almost every week. It's the regular schedules. He writes here, this might seem painfully obvious, but it's also one of the most important. All good podcasts have a regular release schedule they adhere to. I can speak about this without even reading what he wrote here, because this is the I guess one of the greatest benefits of recording at a podcasting studio. Since there are so many podcasts that record here, everything is on a schedule. Everything releases at a certain time on a certain day, just to keep it on a cadence for the studio to work like a well-oiled machine. But if you're a podcast, you're recording your podcast whenever, you're releasing episodes whenever. Your audience won't know when your episodes come out. You won't even know. You can't even release it regularly. You could end up not releasing anything because you were planning on recording that week, but you didn't have a time or a day, so you couldn't get the team around and rallied for that particular time or day. So yeah, have a schedule. Do things on a schedule. This is the part where it is a little bit like work, but once you get the flow of the schedule, once you build it into your natural schedule throughout the week of everything that you do, it becomes habitual. It becomes second nature, and you just don't have to think about it that much. But yes, do not do things at random. Don't drop episodes at random. Your audience needs to know when your episodes are coming out. Your audience needs to know when your episodes are coming out. Doing things randomly is bad. I was going to say, like I said it to me in first grade. That's bad, Marv. Yeah, man. Maintain a schedule. Number 4. Show structure. How you structure your show is very important, and it's become something that people get used to. Also, becomes very, very, very important. And this is why listening to a new podcast can be risky, because people don't want. If you're new to a show, you don't really want to hear how the guy's weekend went. You don't want to really hear how the host's weekend went if you're new to a show. What I do here on Marv in the Morning is more towards my clients, just to provide them the information to put out a successful podcast, and also for me to be able to engage and let them know more of myself. So I kind of opened the show with a little bit of a recap of what I would have done the day before or what's going on here in the studio. But if your podcast is tailored towards the central idea of, let's say, finance, and I'm discovering it for the first time, I'm not going to care how your weekend went. I'm not going to care. I clicked on this to hear about a financial lesson, and I'm not here to hear how your weekend went. I don't care if you're fighting with your wife or or if your boss at work is giving you a hard time. I'm here to learn financial information. If you had a great weekend at the beach, cool beans. But yeah, man, follow a show structure where someone new can jump in and appreciate the content from Jump Street. And then tailor the rest of the topics around that central idea. I kind of learned structure from like writing essays in school, right? Writing essays. The first opening paragraph, tells you what the thesis is of the essay. Thesis being the main subject, the whole point, the whole idea, right? Now, every other paragraph has to kind of point you towards that main idea. Provide key points why the point you're trying to make is correct. So, you structure a podcast that way as well. Do it in bullet point form. You don't have to have an entire script, because no one wants to hear somebody that's just reading off of a sheet of paper or an iPad or whatever. But have bullet points. Have bullet points where here's the idea, the central message you're trying to provide, and here are the examples to back up this message, to prove your point. So a podcast kind of works the same way, like an essay, especially if it's just a podcast about opinions. If you're relaying the news and you're giving your 2 cents about it, what's happening in the news. Yeah, bullet point that jazz. Have a structure. Don't let it go in every direction and which way. Now there is the other end of that spectrum where you're kind of just having a free flowing conversation and it's going in every direction. But those podcasts are not necessarily trying to convey a central message. They're just maybe everyone's just spewing out their opinion out of table of four, and that's a little bit different. But if you are trying to convey a message, if you're trying to prove a point, then follow the structure of a school essay, where you have the opener, you have the three examples, the body, I think they would call it in school, and then you have the closing. Doesn't necessarily have to be three examples in the body. It could be more, but you have a structure to it. Have it be almost like a narrative where someone can follow each topic or each example. Do it that way. Do it. Do it. And the fifth element of a great podcast is authenticity. Listen, don't go on a camera, don't go on microphone and camera and not be authentic. Be yourself. Speak about things you believe in and that you are an authority in that space. Be an authority in what you speak of. I consider myself an authority in the podcast production world. Now, I don't necessarily go into marketing as much because I don't really think that's where my strengths lie. My strength is in the production, and that's where I will focus my attention. That's what I will speak of with authority. I am a beast when it comes to the production of podcasts. A beast. I bit my tongue for a second there, slightly. But be authentic and be an authority with your authenticity. The way you see me here now on camera is who I am in real life. I'm not playing a character. I have done that before in other places on the internet, on Twitch. I had the kayfabe going on. But in this realm, I'm Marv the producer, which is just Marv, honestly. And I'm being my authentic self. Who you see here is what you get. So I don't have to think about my alter ego's perspective on something. I'm just speaking from the heart and from the brain. This is freestyling. This is off the dome. You know what I mean? I don't have to think too hard about it, about what this character's idea would be about this. I'm not playing a character. I'm Marv in the morning. I'm being myself. And that goes a long way. When you're authentic about something, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to put on an act or a show or anything. When you know that much about the topic, when you're just so that lifestyle is so ingrained in you, then it's easy. It's easy. You don't have to. Maybe you have to do a little bit of research, but you don't have to put on an act or whatever. And the thing is, your audience will appreciate it more. They'll connect with you more when you're being authentic. So be your authentic self on your podcast. And the flip side of that, if you're doing a scripted thing and it's more acting, something me and DX are working on is a scripted podcast. Yeah, then it's a different story. But if you're speaking from the heart about a topic that you just want to prove your point on, be authentic about it. Be authentic about it. Your audience will appreciate it. They'll love you more. Everyone will, actually, because it'll be the real you. You know what I mean? And speak with authority about what you know about. Don't go into a space where you don't know. I can't do a podcast about sports. I know nothing about sports. I know the key elements to make a successful podcast, and I could do that with sports, but I don't know about sports, so why would I do that? It wouldn't be authentic to who I am. And that pretty much is the brass tacks of the 5 elements to a great podcast. That is the brass tacks. Shout out to Piper Thompson for this topic. Once again, if you want to check out the whole article, it's on learn.g2.com. I thought it was a great points that he made there. Check it out for yourself. And me being authentic is me just saying that, hey, I didn't come up with this. This guy did. So giving credit where credit is due is a very authentic thing to do as well. Um, let's see what DX said there in the chat. I wrap all presents in aluminum foil. It's super effective and shiny. Actually, you just said that back to me, that would be pretty cool, and it would save you money. And it would save you money. I think we should make that a thing. I think going forward, I shall be wrapping every present in aluminum foil. Look how well it would stand out from beneath the tree once you think about it. Who would have thought? Yeah, man. Shout out to aluminum foil. There's nothing more authentic than showing up to a Christmas party with your gift wrapped in aluminum foil. That actually is a genius idea. Your presents stand out, and you're saving money. You don't have to buy all the wrapping paper, and you probably won't even use all the wrapping paper after Christmas is over. You're not left over with a whole bunch of wrapping paper. Yeah, that's a good idea. Now to come to think of it. But everybody, thanks for watching. Another great episode on Marv in the Morning. Another good time. I tell you guys, I love doing this. If I could be any in the world doing anything, I'd be here doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Love talking to you guys. Hope you guys took away some great information from this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Once again, check out the Discord if you want to chop it up with me some more about the topic. Link is in the description. Make sure you hit subscribe, thumbs up, notification bell, all that jazz. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't have a topic yet for tomorrow, but I'll let you know as soon as I get there. But it's been good, Bravehearts. Shout out to Alucard. Shout out to DX the Great. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to Elizabeth Brown. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. That's a Jay-Z line. But all right, Bravehearts, stay brave, fight for the future, and seize the day. I shall see you mañana. Peace. Whoop.